Welcome, gents. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, calm, and watching everything. What makes a true Sigma male so dangerous isn't muscles, money, or how many people know his name. It's his mind, his presence, his ability to move through life untouched by the noise that controls most people. While others are caught up in proving themselves, showing off, or competing for approval, the Sigma male is building in silence, observing everything, and answering to no one but himself. He doesn't need the crowd to feel worthy. He doesn't chase acceptance, and he doesn't pretend to be someone he's not just to be liked. That kind of independence isn't just rare, it's powerful. It rattles people who rely on control, validation, and predictable behavior to stay in charge. A Sigma male isn't here to play games. He sees through them. He can read a room without speaking and sense fake energy without being told. But here's the thing. He's not cold. He's not emotionless. He just refuses to give his time and trust to anything that isn't real. If you're someone who values your peace more than popularity, if you'd rather be alone than fake, if you've outgrown the need to be understood by everyone, you just might be a Sigma male. And if that's the case, understand this. Your calm is power. Your detachment is strength. Your silence is strategy. You don't have to prove anything. Just keep moving how you move. The world will figure it out. And by then it will be too late to catch up. Let's dive deeper and explore 12 reasons why is a true Sigma male so extremely dangerous. Number 1, he's a builder of private empires. That may sound simple, but the depth behind it is unmatched. See, while most people are busy showing off what they're doing every step of the way, the true Sigma male is doing the opposite. He's quiet about his plans, quiet about his progress, and completely focused on the bigger picture. He's not interested in applause. He's interested in results. This is the kind of man who can be working a regular job by day, but at night he's building something completely different. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a skill, maybe it's an idea that nobody's ready for yet. The point is, he's not waiting for permission or attention. He doesn't need validation to move forward. His vision is his fuel. While others want to be seen, he wants to be effective, and that mindset separates him from almost everyone. You won't catch him oversharing. You won't find him explaining himself or trying to look successful. You'll just wake up one day and see what he's built, and it won't be small. The danger lies in how unpredictable he is. People underestimate him because he doesn't advertise his ambition. But when his work finally surfaces, it hits hard. It changes things. It shifts the room without him having to say a word. Think about someone who quietly built a tech company while working at a coffee shop. Nobody saw it coming. That's Sigma energy. It's not about showing your hand. It's about mastering your craft behind the curtain and then pulling it back when the time is right. He is not chasing noise. He's building something that will speak for itself when it's ready. That's why the Sigma male is dangerous. Not because he wants to impress you, but because he knows how to build something powerful without anyone even knowing it's coming. Number 2, he's immune to flattery and emotional bait, and that makes him one of the hardest people to control. In a world where so many are moved by compliments, likes, or the fear of being disliked, the Sigma male stands in a different category. He doesn't crave praise, and he doesn't shrink from rejection. That alone makes him unpredictable. Most people are emotionally wired to respond to approval. Say the right thing, give them a little recognition, and you can push them in whatever direction you want, but not with him. Try to flatter him, and he sees straight through it. He might smile politely, but deep down he knows whether your words are sincere or just another attempt to manipulate. Try to guilt trip him, and it won't land. He knows how to feel emotions without being ruled by them. Let's say someone tries to make him feel bad for saying no. They use guilt, silence, or subtle jabs. Where most people would give in to stay liked, he stays firm. Not because he's cold, but because he values his peace more than your opinion of him. Now picture a man who isn't swayed by applause or threatened by silence. He's not playing to the crowd. He's not constantly scanning the room for approval. That kind of emotional independence is rare and it's powerful. Think of it this way. If you can't be bought with compliments or controlled with guilt, what can the world really do to you? That's why he's dangerous. He's not looking to fit in. He's not performing for anyone. He moves on his own terms, and nothing you say or feel can steer him away from that. In a world obsessed with attention and influence, a man like that becomes a mystery, and in many cases a threat. Number 3, he doesn't need your acceptance, and that's what makes him different. Not in a loud, rebellious way, not in a look at me, I don't care kind of way. His indifference is quiet, genuine, and deeply rooted. He's not trying to prove anything, he just doesn't see the need to be accepted by people who don't really know him. Most people spend their lives adjusting themselves to fit in. They change how they talk, what they wear, even what they believe, just to feel included. But the Sigma male isn't wired that way. He doesn't twist himself to match someone else's expectations. He doesn't soften his opinions to be liked. And he definitely doesn't fake his personality to gain approval. Picture a man in a room full of people nodding in agreement with each other just to keep the peace. He's the one sitting back, saying nothing or worse, disagreeing without raising his voice, not to stir things up, but because he's not afraid of standing alone. That kind of presence throws people off. You can't predict someone who isn't playing the same social game. He's not chasing connection at all costs. He chooses who he gives his time and energy to. And if someone doesn't like him, that's not a problem for him. He moves on without a second thought. There's a calmness to that kind of freedom that makes people uneasy, especially those used to controlling others through approval or rejection. Here's the truth. When someone truly doesn't care whether you understand them or not, they become impossible to box in. You can't label him. You can't pressure him. You can't use silence or praise to shape him. He's walking a different path altogether, one that's not based on acceptance but on self-trust. And that kind of man is not just rare, he's dangerous because you never see his next move coming. Number 4, he never reveals his full hand. And that's exactly why people never see him coming. The Sigma male is the kind of man who plays life like chess. Every move has purpose, every silence has meaning. And most importantly, you'll never know what he's really thinking or what he's truly capable of until he chooses to show it. While others overshare their goals and broadcast every tiny achievement, he stays quiet. He's not doing it for attention. He's doing it to protect his strategy. There's power in keeping people guessing, and he knows that once you show all your cards, you give people the power to predict you, manipulate you, or block you. Let's say he's working on a major shift in his life. Maybe he's planning to leave a job, build a business, or relocate to another country. But no one hears about it. Not because he's hiding out of fear, but because he doesn't believe everyone deserves access to his process. He lets people talk. He lets them assume. And when he finally moves, the results speak so loud, nobody can ignore it. That unpredictability makes him dangerous. You never know how much he knows, how far he's willing to go, or what he's been building behind closed doors. People underestimate him, and he lets them. It's not pride, it's control. The truth is, he doesn't owe anyone an explanation. His life is not an open book, and when it finally becomes clear what he's capable of, it's often already too late to catch up or stop him. That's what makes him so unique. In a world obsessed with showing off and being loud, he is the quiet storm, calculated, observant, and always 10 steps ahead. The moment you think you've figured him out is the moment you realize you've only seen what he allowed you to see. Number 5. He keeps his pain private and weaponizes it. That alone makes him unlike most people. While many rush to vent, to seek sympathy, or to explain what they've been through, the Sigma male does something different. He holds it in, not because he's afraid to feel, but because he knows that pain is more powerful when it's processed in silence. To him, pain is not something to post about or perform. It's fuel. It's something he takes into his solitude and works through piece by piece until it becomes something useful. That breakup, that betrayal, that failure, he doesn't talk about it for attention. He studies it, he learns from it, and then he sharpens it into something that protects him in the future. Imagine someone breaking his trust. While others might rant, spiral, or look for comfort, he disappears into himself, not to hide, but to evolve. The next time you see him, he's not wounded. He's stronger, sharper, colder if necessary. That same pain that could have destroyed him has been turned into discipline, into clarity, into boundaries no one can cross again. That is what makes him dangerous. You never know what he's survived because he doesn't wear his scars where you can see them, but make no mistake, he's been through fire. The difference is, he didn't come out burned, he came out armored. He knows how to turn suffering into strength. And because he keeps that process private, people often misjudge him. They assume he's unbothered or even untouched. The truth is, He's just mastered the art of transforming pain into power without needing an audience. And when a man can do that, when he can take life's hardest hits and turn them into tools, he becomes someone the world cannot break. Number 6, he makes peace with his darkness. That's something most people avoid their entire lives. They hide it, deny it, or pretend it doesn't exist. But not the Sigma male. He doesn't sugarcoat who he is. He knows there are parts of himself that are sharp, intense, maybe even dangerous, and he doesn't run from that truth. He faces it head on. He doesn't pretend to be perfect. He doesn't try to play the nice guy all the time. Instead, he takes a deeper look at the parts of himself that most people are too afraid to examine. His anger, his ambition, his jealousy, his need for control. He studies those parts, not to act on them recklessly, but to understand their power and place. Because when you ignore your darkness, it controls you. But when you understand it, you control it. That's what sets him apart. He doesn't let his emotions explode in unhealthy ways. He doesn't let his demons drive his choices. He learns how to work with them, how to harness the fire without getting burned. Picture a man who knows what he's capable of in the worst moments, but chooses restraint. That is real power. That is self-mastery. And it's far more dangerous than someone who simply tries to look good or sound wise on the surface. The Sigma male doesn't want to be seen as flawless. He wants to be real. And part of being real means owning the dark with the light. He knows how far he can go. He just chooses not to, unless he has to. And that's what makes him a serious force. He's not naive. He's not pretending. He's a man who's walked through his own darkness, made sense of it, and walked back out stronger. That kind of man, you can't manipulate him. You can't scare him. And you sure as hell can't control him. Number 7, he refuses to chase anything, including people. And that mindset alone separates him from the crowd. While the world teaches you to go after what you want no matter what, the Sigma male has a different rule book. If something or someone needs convincing to be in his life, he steps back without hesitation. To him, forced energy is wasted energy. He doesn't beg, he doesn't persuade, he doesn't cling. If a door closes, he lets it. If someone pulls away, he does not follow. It's not pride, it's clarity. He knows that anything built on convincing, chasing, or trying too hard will eventually fall apart. So he doesn't engage in the chase, he simply moves on. Let's say he starts connecting with someone. Friendship, business relationship, it doesn't matter. The moment he senses that the connection requires him to constantly prove his worth or tiptoe to keep it alive, he checks out. He would rather walk alone in peace than keep running after someone who isn't sure about him. That's not rejection, that's self-respect. This is a man who believes that the right things align naturally. That doesn't mean he's passive or careless. It means he's intentional. He gives what he's willing to give, and if that's not enough for someone, he respects that and exits. The danger is in how easily he lets go. That unnerves people. Most expect pushback, pleading, or explanation. He offers none. His detachment is quiet and final, and the moment you realize you lost him, it's already too late. He doesn't move out of desperation. He moves with purpose. And if something requires him to beg or chase, he'd rather leave it behind. Because a man who refuses to chase cannot be manipulated, rushed, or controlled. And that kind of freedom makes him incredibly dangerous in a world where everyone is running after something. Number 8, he's brutally self-honest. Not just in the way people say they are, but in the way most people avoid entirely. The Sigma male doesn't hide from his flaws. He doesn't sugarcoat his past. He doesn't pretend to be stronger or smarter than he is. He tells himself the truth even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. He knows where he's messed up. He knows his insecurities, his weak spots, the patterns that try to sabotage him. But instead of running from them or covering them up with fake confidence, he confronts them head on. He doesn't wait for someone to point out his flaws. He's already seen them, studied them, and made peace with them. That kind of self-awareness is rare. Most people are living in a fog, pretending they've got it all together, hoping nobody sees the cracks, but not him. He doesn't just acknowledge his darkness. He takes responsibility for it, and that's what makes him powerful. You can insult him if you want, call him out, try to shame him, but here's the thing, it won't land. He's already had those conversations with himself. He's already faced the mirror. And once you've told yourself the truth, no one else's opinion can shake you. Imagine someone who knows they've failed before and owns it, who knows they can be impatient or distant or stubborn and is actively working on it, not to please others but to grow. That's not weakness. That's a level of maturity most people never reach. That's why he's so dangerous. You can't guilt him. You can't expose him. He's already exposed himself to the truth. And when a man reaches that level of brutal self-honesty, he becomes immune to outside judgment. He's not hiding from anything. And a man with nothing to hide is almost impossible to defeat. Number 9. He sees through social masks instantly, not because he's trying to judge, but because his mind is always watching, always reading. The Sigma male doesn't just listen to what you say. He pays attention to what you avoid, how your eyes move, the tone behind your words, the timing of your laughter. Nothing slips by him, and that makes people nervous. You can't perform around him. You can't fake confidence, pretend to be humble, or throw charm around hoping it sticks. He sees straight through it, not in a loud or confrontational way, but in a quiet, calculating one. He simply files it away, already knowing what's real and what's not. And the most dangerous part? He won't even let you know he knows. Let's say someone walks in acting powerful, trying to dominate a conversation with loud opinions and over-the-top stories. Most people get impressed or intimidated. The Sigma male just watches. He knows when confidence is real and when it's covering deep insecurity, and he won't call it out because he doesn't need to. He just keeps his distance, and that quiet disinterest alone can rattle people. He notices when someone is being overly nice for a reason. He picks up on power plays that others are blind to. It could be in a boardroom, a relationship, or even a casual interaction. He senses intention before words are finished. This ability makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are used to wearing masks and getting away with it. The Sigma male isn't fooled by titles, status, or flashy behavior. He doesn't fall for emotional manipulation or groupthink. That calm awareness makes him hard to fool, hard to read, and nearly impossible to play. And when people realize they can't hide their true selves from him, they either respect him or fear him, sometimes both. Number 10, he turns betrayal into a spiritual awakening. Most people, when they're betrayed, fall apart. They question everything, lose themselves in the pain, or waste time begging for closure. But the Sigma male does something completely different. He goes quiet, not because he's weak, but because something inside him is shifting. He doesn't fight for explanations. He doesn't try to win someone back. That moment of betrayal, no matter how personal, becomes a turning point. Instead of crumbling, he sharpens. He studies the pain. He studies himself. And what comes out of that process is not just healing, it's evolution. He becomes more surgical in how he trusts, more selective in where he gives his energy, more efficient in how he moves through the world. That pain doesn't weaken him, it wakes him up. It exposes the lies, the illusions, the things he once tolerated that no longer have a place in his life. Let's say he was loyal to someone who turned on him. Could be a friend, a partner, or someone he deeply respected. Where most would spiral into anger or self-doubt, he sees it for what it is, a lesson in disguise. A reminder of who he is and what he must now protect. That betrayal becomes his teacher, and from that point on he becomes colder, not cruel, focused, not closed off. You will never get the same version of him again after betrayal. The part of him that once gave without question has now been replaced with something far more precise. He's not bitter, he's awake. And that's the danger most people never see coming. They think they've broken him. But all they've really done is strip away the last bit of softness he offered them. What's left is someone fully aware, fully in control, and far more dangerous than he was before. Number 11, he doesn't want to be followed, but if he is, it's never for show. The Sigma male has no interest in leading crowds or being placed on a pedestal. He moves for himself, by himself. He doesn't need an audience, and he certainly doesn't crave attention. That's exactly why people find themselves drawn to him. He's not trying to be impressive. He's not performing, preaching, or positioning himself as a leader. In fact, he's often trying to stay out of the spotlight. But when someone lives with that kind of clarity and self-direction, others can't help but notice. It's rare, it's steady, and it's real. People follow him not because he asks them to, but because he doesn't care if they do. That indifference is magnetic. In a world full of people trying to be seen, trying to gather followers, trying to lead through force or charm, the Sigma male leads by example. He doesn't talk about his values, he lives them. He doesn't sell his vision, he just acts on it. Imagine a man who quietly does his work, respects himself, and refuses to be anything other than authentic. That kind of presence naturally commands attention, even when he's not asking for it. People follow him not to be entertained, but to understand how someone can move so confidently without needing validation. And because he never asked for loyalty, the loyalty he receives is real. The people who respect him do so because they've seen who he is when nobody's watching. They're drawn to how he carries himself when he thinks no one's paying attention. He never wanted to be anyone's leader. But in the silence of his actions and the strength of his independence, he becomes exactly that without even trying. And that is what makes his influence powerful. It's not loud, it's not showy, it's real. Number 12, he respects energy, not titles. You could be a CEO, a millionaire, or someone with a long list of credentials. It doesn't matter. None of that impresses him. The Sigma male is wired to look past surface-level identity. He pays attention to how your presence feels, not how your resume reads. If your energy is fake, pushy, insecure, or manipulative, you're invisible to him. You can talk about your power all day, but if your vibe is off, he tunes you out without a second thought. And that shakes egos. Because most people are used to being treated based on what they have, not who they are. But he doesn't care about hierarchy or reputation. He doesn't respect authority by default. He respects authenticity. He reads people like frequencies. And if yours doesn't match, you're not in his world. You can't outthink someone who doesn't care about winning the same game. This is where it gets dangerous. The Sigma male isn't chasing the same things as everyone else. He's not trying to be famous. He's not obsessed with being liked. He's not even interested in competing with you. While others are busy playing status games, building followers, and chasing trophies, he's creating his own blueprint. And the rules he plays by are his alone. You can't manipulate him with competition. You can't lure him with attention. You can't pressure him with loss because he's not playing for the same prizes. That's why he's so hard to predict. You can't win against someone who isn't even trying to beat you. He's building something bigger that most people won't even understand until it's finished. If you ever find yourself trying to figure him out or keep up with him, you're already behind. Not because he's moving faster, but because he's operating on a completely different frequency. And once you realize that, it's too late. You're already part of a game he never told you he was playing. In final words, a man who knows himself cannot be owned, shaped, or broken. The truth is, a true Sigma male is not dangerous because he wants to be feared. He is dangerous because he is free. Free from needing attention, free from chasing people, free from approval, control, and all the things that keep most people tied up in games they never chose. He doesn't move loud, but he moves deep. He thinks before he speaks and acts only when it matters. He's not here to impress anyone. He's here to live fully on his own terms. And in a world that constantly tries to define and box people in, that kind of independence threatens everything fake. You are a Sigma male not because you followed some rule book or copied a personality type. You are one because you felt the pull to go your own way, even when it was lonely. Because you've outgrown empty conversations, shallow approval, and everything that feels forced. Because peace means more to you than popularity, and truth matters more than attention. That quiet strength you carry, that ability to walk away, to observe without reacting, to feel deeply but never lose your center, that is your edge. And yes, it makes others uncomfortable. Let them be. You were not built to follow. You were built to lead without trying. Keep sharpening that inner clarity. Keep growing in silence. The world may not understand you, but it will always remember you because real power never shouts. It simply shows up unshaken. And that right there is what makes you extremely dangerous. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.